Welcome to the Daily Energize podcast, where you'll get a jolt of energy and a quick tip to help you conquer your day. Now here's your host, the Prince of Positivity himself, Spencer Jones.
What's happening, Energizer? Thank you for hopping in and joining me, Spencer Jones, the Prince of Positivity, in this episode of the Daily Energize. And today, I'm going to ask you to potentially step outside of your comfort zone. And that is, I'm inviting you to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable with yourself. To be vulnerable with others as well. It can be scary because, well, we're opening up. We're being vulnerable. We're letting our guard down, our shields down. And that means that more love, more light gets to be shared with others. But it also means that we're open to, quote-unquote, attack. And that's never fun. But let's talk about being vulnerable for a short little bit here in today's episode. But before we hop in, thank you for being here, joining me as always. I really appreciate it. I believe I said that already. But also, if you could leave a rating and review for the Daily Energize, I would really appreciate it. It takes about 30 seconds or so. I know not all platforms allow it, but if this one that you're listening to the Daily Energize does, just take the 30 seconds. If you could be so kind and leave a rating and review, I would greatly appreciate it. That way the platform sees it, and then we'll hopefully share it out with other people because they're like, oh my gosh, people are liking it, and they share it out. So, and also, shout out to everyone who's picked up my latest book, You Are Enough, 101 Quotes by the Prince of Positivity, or from the Prince of Positivity. And I'm grateful to all of you who have done that, who left ratings and reviews and shared pictures. I'm deeply, deeply honored. Thank you so, so much. All right, so let's talk about being vulnerable. Because it can be scary to be vulnerable, right? To open up, to share your light, and to shine. The biggest thing that I found to help me open up and be safe is to have a safe place to do it. To at least start small. I don't go out and be I'm just vulnerable to the world. That's not like I just go big to go big. Nope. I start small. And by small, I mean a person, maybe two people, where I create that safe environment with them so I feel comfortable with them and the space I'm in is comfortable. I know people who are at their home can't feel safe. They don't feel safe at home, and maybe you're one of them. And if you do or are experiencing that or did experience that, I'm very sorry. That sucks, and it's no way to live. You can change it. You can change that environment. And maybe with circumstances being what they are, maybe you're not able to change it at the house, but you can create a safe place somewhere. A place where you get to just be you. And maybe there's nobody around. It's just you. Creating that safe little sanctuary. That's beautiful. For me, once I started to create that safe place, that was huge. And then I started to invite people in, one at a time, letting them be safe with me, safe with them, and them in my safe place. So I'd be like, I could just be myself. I can open up and share these thoughts and things and be vulnerable. And there's different degrees of being vulnerable. Katie and my inner circle, they get me through and through. They see it all. But I'm also, at least I tried to be, vulnerable with all of you. How do I do that? It's a different level of vulnerability. I'm pretty open about most things, but there's some things I hold close that are for Katie. Just for Katie. And then there's some that I open up to my inner circle, and then we expand out. But also being vulnerable can be, hey, I'm gonna share my emotions. I'm gonna laugh when I find something funny. I'm going to cry if I'm sad. And I'm going to share that I'm struggling right now. That, hey, I'm going through a valley. I'm in a difficult moment. Just by sharing it. Maybe I'm asking for help or support or advice. Or maybe I'm just wanting to get it off my chest and share. But that's a step of vulnerability too, just owning it yourself and then sharing it. So to help me do that, I've created that safe place. I've offered myself self-compassion, kindness, understanding to myself, like what we try to give to other people. And then I also really lean in on my beliefs. What are my values? What are my beliefs about myself, my purpose, my direction? I lean on those because that can help me, that helps give me the strength to be able to be vulnerable to the outside world. Because there are going to be people who don't agree. There are people who don't care. There's people who might try dimming our light. Okay. But if I have that strength of my purpose, my values, the direction where I'm going, all right, and then I have that'll help fuel me when we come across those naysayers, the people who are trying to dim our lights. And then I surround myself with amazing people like you who pour love, light, and energy into me, and hopefully I do the same for you. That helps energize me. And then I can retreat to my sanctuary even more to refill, to re-energize, to make sure I'm set to go. Now, I'm saying that all about me, but I'm hoping you're turning around and making it about you. Are you making a sanctuary? Who is in your circle that is part of that safe place? Who's your community? Hopefully it's the Energizers who are pouring into you, who are there to support you. And then do you have clarity on your purpose, your direction, and where you're going and overcoming those obstacles? If not, reach out. We can help you with that. But you need to take that action. And if you want to be vulnerable, how do I say this? When you're vulnerable, not only do you share more of yourself with the world, you allow the world in. The people who you feel closest to are sometimes the people, and a lot of the times, most often, the people who you can be most vulnerable with. Because you're sharing and seeing each other's true hearts. And that's amazing. So I invite you, take a step in being vulnerable. Maybe you're creating your sanctuary, your safe place. Maybe you're expanding it to one person and you're sharing some things about you. It doesn't have to be the deepest, darkest secrets, but you're sharing some things about you. Or maybe you're opening up and doing a different level of it and sharing it out with more people. Just, hey, you're struggling right now, you're doing really good right now, or whatever it is. Tie that in with being you and authentic, which being vulnerable is tapping into that and being willing to share that, even though it might be scary, makes a huge difference. I hope you take me up on it. I hope you see the beautiful difference it can make. All right, thank you for joining me in this episode. Keep shining bright. Go be vulnerable. It's scary, but it's worth it. All right, I love you. I appreciate you. And until next time, I will catch you later.